I met Ethan when life was nothing but struggle. I was working 2 jobs just to make rent in a tiny apartment in Brooklyn. He walked into my life like a storm, calm but overwhelming, and I didn't know it yet, but he would change everything. His name is Ethan Caldwell, a man whose mind was as sharp as his tailored suits and whose heart, I would discover, could be just as tender. But what drew me to him first wasn't his wealth. Back then, he had none of that. Back then, he had only dreams, and he believed in mine as much as I did in his. We met at a small community library, the one near my apartment. I was shelving books when he accidentally knocked over a stack of novels. I laughed nervously, helping him pick them up. He looked at me, his eyes warm and curious, and said, "I feel like I've known you forever." Something in the way he said it made me believe him. We started spending more time together. He would help me with my coding projects and dream of launching our own tech startup someday. We grew together from scratch, fueled by ambition and a shared vision of a future neither of us could see clearly yet. As months turned into years, our friendship deepened. Late nights at coffee shops turned into long walks under streetlights. I remember one night in Central Park. Snow had just started falling. He handed me his scarf, wrapping it gently around my neck, and I felt my chest tighten. "I don't want to imagine my life without you," he whispered. I wanted to tell him then, to confess that my heart had long been his, but fear held me back. Fear of vulnerability, fear of losing what we had. Then came the first test of our bond. He was offered an opportunity to work for a startup in Manhattan that promised wealth and recognition. I knew this could change everything, and it did. Our days grew longer, our meetings shorter. But despite the strain, our connection never wavered. Every victory he celebrated, he shared with me. Every late-night coding success, every pitch, he wanted me there, because I had been part of every line of code, every sleepless night. And then, she appeared. Her name was Vanessa, elegant, confident, and wrapped in the glow of new wealth. She had just met him, just as he was stepping into his first rounds of investment, and she radiated a charm that made people turn their heads. The moment I saw her at a gala, laughing beside him, I felt the cold slip into my heart. But I remembered the nights we spent building something real, and I reminded myself that our story was ours, and no one could rewrite it. The tension between us grew. Vanessa would drop by his office unannounced, linger at dinner parties, and smile in ways that were meant to be hers alone. But Ethan never faltered. He would look at me across crowded rooms, a private understanding passing between us. One night, he pulled me aside in the office after everyone had left. "Do you know what matters to me?" he asked. I nodded. "You. Everything we built together. No one else matters." My heart raced, and in that moment, I felt the weight of every sacrifice we had made, every sleepless night, every shared dream, and it crystallized into something I could hold on to. One evening, we stayed late in the tiny office that had once been nothing more than a shared desk and a second-hand laptop. Ethan leaned back in his chair, exhaustion lining his face, and I sat close, brushing a stray curl from his forehead. Our hands met, fingers entwining as if they had been made to fit together perfectly. "You know," he murmured, "I never imagined someone like you would be the one to make me believe in love and in myself at the same time." I felt my breath hitch, my entire body drawn into his warmth. That night, the city outside disappeared. There was only the soft hum of our computer fans, the quiet rustle of paper, and the heat of our closeness that seemed to defy everything around us. The competition with Vanessa escalated. Invitations came, events overlapped, and whispers of her trying to lure him away reached my ears. I fought to remain composed, knowing that our foundation was built on trust and love, not the fleeting glitter of money or appearances. One night, after a particularly tense gala, Ethan and I walked through the quiet streets of the Upper East Side. The city lights reflected in puddles from earlier rain, and he stopped under a lamppost, pulling me close. "You're the one who built this with me. You're the one I want. You always have been." I closed my eyes and let his lips brush mine, soft but insistent, and in that kiss, all fear melted away. Months later, our startup had grown beyond our wildest dreams, and Ethan invited me to our new penthouse in Soho, a space I had never imagined entering. The skyline stretched before us, glittering and alive. He held my hand, guiding me to the balcony. "I want to make a promise," he said, his voice steady yet trembling with emotion. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box, opening it to reveal a ring that seemed to capture every moment we had shared. "Will you marry me?" I felt tears blur my vision, happiness and relief crashing over me. "Yes," I whispered, my voice breaking. And in that embrace, the city seemed to pause, as if acknowledging the union of two souls who had fought, loved, and endured together. Our wedding was a quiet affair, held at a small chapel in the countryside near Hudson Valley. The air smelled of pine and fresh rain, and the sun filtered through stained glass windows as we exchanged vows. I remembered every late-night conversation, every sacrifice, every shared secret, and I knew that love was not about grandeur. It was about commitment, trust, and the courage to remain steadfast even when the world tried to pull you apart. Years later, as we walked hand in hand through our penthouse garden overlooking the city, I realized something profound. Love is not just about passion or wealth. It is about growth, patience, and knowing that someone believes in you even when the odds are stacked against you. Ethan had been my first love, my anchor, and my greatest adventure. Together, we had turned nothing into everything, and our hearts had become the wealth that no money could ever buy. Now I ask you, have you ever fought for love when it felt like the entire world was against you? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more true tales of love, suspense, and triumph.